You're looking for condos on Zillow and you come across exactly what you're looking for in exactly the location you want. That price is amazing. It's the right size and everything. Look at these pictures. It looks really, really nice. So what's the catch? And that's when you see deed restricted unit. What the heck does that mean? A few weeks ago, I actually mentioned deed restricted units in my video titled 5 Things to Look For When House Hunting in San Diego. And since then, I have had a few people ask me for more details. Like, what really does this mean? And why did I say everyone should look out for it? So we're gonna go into a little more detail in this video about exactly what a deed restricted unit is. Hi, I'm Allison. I'm a real estate agent here in beautiful San Diego, California, and my goal is to help you love where you live. So let's dive into this crazy topic. When a deed restricted unit hits the market, our team gets a ton of calls from Zillow about those units. They look great. They're in really good condition. The prices are insane and they're in good locations. And that's exactly why you should be suspicious. If it looks too good to be true, it probably is. There are 6 communities within San Diego that have deed restricted units in them. One has as few as 6 units, another one has as many as 231 units. So it varies depending on the actual condo community that you're looking at. The purpose of a deed restricted unit is that the San Diego Housing Commission is trying to enable low or lower middle income people to afford a home. We all know California real estate prices are insane and San Diego's have skyrocketed recently, especially. So they're just trying to help out and allow a few more people to actually experience homeownership. The way they do this is they actually limit how much the house can be sold for, and they keep it well below market value. For example, there is a 2-bedroom condo in the Black Mountain area, 92127, being sold right now for $304,000. Other ones in the area that are similar 2-bedroom, 1-bath condos, they are selling for anywhere from $485,000 to $710,000. So you can see if you're looking in that area for 2-bedroom condos, that one's gonna stick out like a bright light saying, "Hi, I'm super affordable," and everyone wants it. But there are a lot of catches to these. I'm not gonna go over every single requirement on these because there are lots of little nuances even within the ones I'm gonna cover. I'm going to cover the top ones that usually just kick people out from the get-go. If you can pass through these top ones, then you can start getting into the nitty-gritty to see if like you actually hit everything. I will tell you very, very few people actually qualify. The first thing is that you actually have to be a first-time home buyer. Now, this doesn't mean that you can never have owned a home before. It's just that you can't have owned a home in the last 3 years. There are special exemptions made for people who are newly single parents or who were in a marriage and didn't have an income and owned the house with their partner. Now they're divorced and that house is actually not counted. But for the most part, you need to be a first-time home buyer, which means you have not owned a home in the last 3 years. And that means anywhere, not just California. Second thing is you also have to be living and working in San Diego County, and you have to have 2 years of continuous work history. The third thing is you have to have at least a 640 credit score. Next, there are income limits, which range from anywhere from 60% to 120% of the average median income for the area, or the AMI. Continuing talking about the one I just mentioned previously in Black Mountain area, that one had an income requirement of no more than 80% of the average median income for that area, and that depends on how many people need to live there. For a 2-bedroom condo, at least 2 people need to live in the home. And in this case, that puts the maximum income at around $88,000. For both people, if they're both earning an income and they're both at least 18 years old. There's a whole chart you can look at that shows like how many people are in the house, what the area median income is, and all of that. You can check it out online. I'll link it below. I think they update it annually, so the number I just quoted you probably won't be the same next year, but that's how it all works out. And if you are a single person looking for a condo right now and you're like, ooh, I'm just gonna go out and get a roommate and that'll be awesome, think again. Here's what the rules say. Any person claimed as a household member must have lived with the borrower for a minimum of 1 year prior to the purchase and must provide evidence they will live in the subject property. In addition, any non-borrowing person listed as having no income on the application must be a dependent on the applicant's tax return for the previous year to be considered a household member. So as you can see, they've got some pretty strict rules. You also have to be able to put 3% down payment plus closing costs. In the case of the condo that I've been talking about, that would be around $9,000 for the down payment. You're probably gonna have another $10,000 to $15,000 in closing costs. You can get that money as a gift, but it has to come from a direct relative, mom, dad, grandparent, child, uncle, aunt, somebody really close to you. You cannot use a VA loan to purchase these homes. And they do have some allowances if you need to get your debt to income ratio down, that they'll let you put a little higher of a down payment. So there's some details in there that you might need to know about in certain circumstances, but we're not gonna cover those today. And while I said you can get a gift from a family member, if this is like a rich mom or dad or some rich relative who's just giving you all the money like no problem, you're not gonna qualify. The whole point of this is for people who don't have the resources. So if you have a rich relative who could be helping you buy something else, you should be buying something else. So also, you as the borrower can't have a ton of liquid assets either. So in this instance, there's two people. If you have more than $88,000 hanging around in your savings account, you're not gonna qualify. I often get investors who are asking about these units. Obviously, it makes a ton of sense. If you can buy something super cheap like that and rent it out, these are gonna rent really, really well. They look super attractive, but investors are not gonna qualify. And part of the reason for that is if you're trying to pay cash, it's a no-go. If you have that much cash sitting around, you do not need to be buying one of these. Somebody else needs it more. And as I said before, the borrower must live in the property for the entire time of the loan. And that includes if you have a spouse, the spouse has to live there also. And you can't rent out any part of the home. And the final one is that your debt to income ratio can't exceed 45% of your gross monthly income. And that's going to include this new payment for the new condo. So the lender can figure all that out for you. Don't stress about trying to figure it out yourself. But that is, the lender's gonna tell you if you can qualify, and that might be one of the final things that they check. If you do happen to meet all of these requirements, there is a class that you will have to take for new homeowners. This is not an exhaustive list. You can see the whole list on the San Diego Housing Commission website. I will put the link for that below. And you should know that if you do qualify for one of these, they are gonna have restrictions when you go to sell. The deed restrictions on the property last from anywhere from 45 to 55 years. So if you happen to get in there and are able to stay in there with all the original people in there and never have to move or anything and can stay there until that deed restriction falls off, I think that means you're gonna have a really, really, really valuable asset. But if you can't, the San Diego Housing Commission actually will get to help determine what the house is gonna sell for. So you might make some money, but you're not gonna make a windfall. The San Diego Housing Commission will also help make sure that the unit is ready for sale so that it actually looks pretty. And they will help figure out the eligibility of the 50,000 people who are calling to find out about the condo. As you can see, there are a ton of hoops to jump through to get one of these insanely good deals. But it's for a good reason. They're really trying to help out people who otherwise would never ever be able to afford to buy a house. I think that's a really great thing. That's the information. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions below. Let me know your thoughts on all of this. And if this was at all helpful, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell so that you get notified when I put out new content.